What's your take on what the market is doing right now? Is this a rebalancing, as Lynn suggests, or a rejection of the new PM?
I think it's mostly a rebalancing. Given that we saw on Friday, as Lynn said, the markets were closed when the final results were announced. Excuse me. And now they're just rebalancing. I think it's largely a reflection of the stronger yen, which is weighing on the stock market. But there have also been some concerns that Ishiba might raise taxes, which is probably seen as corporate taxes particularly, which may be seen as an additional headwind to the stock market, though it's not clear whether he has the clout to push through those tax hikes. It's worth remembering that Abe himself lowered the corporate tax rate, so raising it again would be quite a reversal. It's not clear whether the LDB is up for that.
Marcel, I wanted to ask you about the Bank of Japan, because in terms of that market reaction from Friday to today, when we thought that it was going to be Takeichi and then it became Ishiba-san, I mean, the Bank of Japan should legally, under the Bank of Japan Act, be independent. So why are markets pricing in, it seems like, that there was going to be no hike for the foreseeable future for a long time under Takeichi, and then potentially that there could be hikes coming up earlier?
It's a very good question. I mean, on paper, the Bank of Japan is the least independent central bank in any major advanced economy. But the president has been set in 2000 when current Governor Ueda sat on the board. Back then, the government raised a request to postpone a vote on a rate hike, and the Bank of Japan board rejected that proposal by 8 to 9 votes. So it has proven its independence, and ever since, the government has never requested any monetary policy proposal at the Bank of Japan meeting. So it's not clear. Openly, I think the government wouldn't be able to influence monetary policy, but we can't completely rule out, obviously, that Ueda would eventually bow to political pressure. I mean, he had to defend, for example, the July rate hike in Parliament with a long hearing. So it's possible that if there was very strong opposition within the government, that it would sway Ueda somewhat, though I personally think that he is very steadfast. I mean, he dissented from the interest rate hike in 2000, and he also voted against the government's proposal to delay the vote. So he's clearly the type that I think is able to stand up to political pressure.
So, Marcel, are we back to where we were before the leadership contest, the status quo, with Ueda saying that they are in no hurry, given, of course, we've seen that the yen has appreciated? And on that front, we saw the depreciation and then now the appreciation. How much more is there to go there? And how is that going to affect international investor sentiment, in your view?
Well, we think the yen will continue to strengthen. So, and 2026 forecast is 135 against the dollar. So there's certainly some more to go, and that it typically is a headwind for Japanese equities, simply because they earn a lot of their revenue overseas, and that's worth less in yen terms when the yen strengthens. And it's also a key factor why the TOPIX has underperformed the U.S. stock market over the last few weeks as the yen has strengthened.